Is your teen a high school junior and you're suddenly realizing that college feels just around the corner and you haven't really started yet? Don't panic. Now is the perfect time to get started, and I have a checklist for what you and your teen can work on this fall to get ready for college. Let's get started. First of all, I want you to know that you are not behind. Junior year is a great time to start this process. The process is really a marathon, it's not a sprint. So, this is a really good time for your child to begin thinking about college and planning for college intentionally. All right, let's get started on this fall checklist. I have 6 things that you and your teen can start working on right now to kickstart this process. First, I think it's a great time for your teen to review their academic performance. So, junior year is a really important time for the high school transcript. Make sure that they are doing as good as they can in their classes. Check in with them on their first quarter grades, attend parent-teacher conferences if necessary. Now is a really good time to do that because college applications are generally due with the last grades being junior year grades. So the GPA this year is really important. If your child's been struggling a little bit through high school, also know that admissions officers at colleges are looking for upward trends. So this is a great year to really kick it into high gear and do well in your classes. The second thing I would like you to do is just start exploring colleges and putting together a preliminary list. You can look at resources like Big Future. Some high schools will use software through their guidance office. It can be Naviance, Score, or School Links. Those can be good resources for exploring colleges. And my favorite is called College Navigator. So if you put some of your factors in there, it will give you a filtered list of colleges to consider. I don't really want you to focus crazy on how hard it is to get into these schools yet. I think it's important to have a balanced list, but right now I just want you to focus on kind of like, what are your interests? What location are you looking at? What size? Just start lightly exploring colleges and making a preliminary list. Okay, the next thing I want to talk about is planning for your ACT or SAT testing. This is a really good year, an important year to take one or both of those tests. You can look up the test dates on ACT.org for the ACT or on collegeboard.org for the SAT. Your school may very well provide a free test for all juniors. But I would consider just looking at those, considering doing some test prep. It could be online, it could be in person, it could be group or individual, and really focusing on steps that you're going to take to get the score to where you want it. Testing junior year is also a great idea because you will have taken the right classes, so English classes, math classes, science classes, in order for you to know as much as possible to be prepared for those test questions. My number 4 tip for you is to talk about the budget. So I think it's nice when families can have open conversations with their child about how much they can afford to spend on college. So I want you to talk about a couple of things. Number 1, what is your budget? I will share with you that in-state cost of attendance, so it's kind of like the lower end, all the way up to private school cost of attendance, ranges from just under $30,000 a year to almost $100,000 a year. So keep that in mind as you discuss your budget with your child. I also think it's important for you to look at what you can afford and how much aid you might get. A great tool out there that not a lot of people take advantage of is something called the Net Price Calculator. So if you look up a college and then add the words Net Price Calculator on there, you can enter in some basic financial information and see how much you might be expected to pay versus what the sticker price of that college is. Knowing your budget really helps narrow down the focus of the colleges your child can consider. Okay, my next tip is, I know this might feel early, but start thinking about planning ahead for next summer. Most of the opportunities that students have will come up between now and spring. So if they'd like to attend a camp, or if they want to travel, or if they want to take a course, they can be researching that information now to plan out their calendar for next summer. They also might consider things like a job or an internship, which are great things to do, great activities to expose them to a variety of things that they might want to consider for careers or even majors. Okay, my next tip is to research colleges and even visit a few colleges if you can. So junior year is a great time to take a short trip to visit a couple of colleges nearby. This really helps students get excited about the process and get a feel for the vibe on college campuses and kind of narrow down a little bit of what they're interested in. I would advise you to not start with highly selective colleges. I don't want your child to fall in love with the most expensive, the hardest to get into colleges at first. They should go to a variety of colleges to see that there's a lot of awesome schools all over the place. If you can't visit in person because it's too far or it's not going to fit into your schedule, visiting a college virtually or attending an information session online is another great way to get started in that process. And finally, I just want to talk to you as a parent and just tell you that this process is going to be a lot smoother if you let your child be the driver in the process. Have them make decisions on the colleges they want to explore and when they want to take their tests, and try to get them to have their own sense of ownership and agency in this process. You really need to be more of a guide in the process because it is their future, right? It is their future to decide, and if they feel that ownership, it's going to be a much less stressful experience for everyone. So I think it would be good if you could encourage your child, if you could maybe help them organize their dates of the college visits and maybe offer them support and ideas in that way. So kind of just be the sideline cheerleader supporter of them throughout this process. Okay, so these tips are for your high school junior to start doing in the fall. What comes next? It's going to be more research, kind of deeper research, investigating possible teachers that they might want to request for a letter of recommendation, things like that. So I'm going to create another video for the next set of tasks for your junior. Just remember that you're not behind. So I encourage you, out of all of the steps that I've given you, to take one step and tackle that this week. Make small progress with your child each week. If you liked this information, please subscribe and share with your friends. Thanks.